NPC.
Dice, quote unquote, balance is just making sure that it rolls randomly, like perfectly randomly.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, but like I don't know how the fluid dynamics are going to affect the way the die rolls, right? Like it doesn't appreciably matter, but like I don't know, it somewhere in the back of my goopy goblin brain, I'm just like, that's a bad die.
Goopy goblin brain.
You heard me.
I love it.
Not necessarily, because as long as each side is weighted the same, it's still going to roll randomly.
That's true. I legitimately like have a fixation on buying those incredibly like sharp edged like science cut like dice or whatever because
like my metal clicky clackies. I love my metal clicky clackies.
Science.
Fucking goblins.
Dice. Make the clicky clack.
My sharp edged math rocks are like cut down to like 10 millimeters or whatever, like casino dice because I don't know, I have a problem.
Because what's the point of having them if they're not, right?
Because first you start off at entry level and then you need to go for the fucking like high precision shit to really get the kicks, you know?
Yeah. And then eventually I just start doing heroin.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I thought it was like praising Satan. Like,
Oh, that escalated.
So on that note,
on that note, I got banned from Twitch.
Did I show you guys the dice chicken?
Yes. No. Yes, you did.
In detail.
Is it?
Yeah, maybe it is.
Pretty sure, like last week or something.
A while back, maybe.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Stop peeing, Cass.
I was actually just cleaning a spoon because I'm gonna go get some ice cream.
Yeah, I don't see it anymore. Oh, well.
You are a fucking...
Are you literally going to go out now that we're all here?
No, I have ice cream at home.
Okay.
The ice cream at home. Picture of an ice tray.
We've got Rat King at home, I heard when I walked in.
Well, Izzy was talking about, like, have I ever made you guys fight a Rat King or whatever? And I was like, yes, but not the kind you're thinking of.
The Rat King at home.
The false god.
What the fuck? Why doesn't my D20 fit into any of these things?
I don't know. Anyway, I'll just put it in Marcus posting again, cause like fuck it. My dice chicken.
I love the dice chicken. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I never get to use my dice anymore though.
Why?
Because I don't game in person anymore.
Ah.
Any road.
Make it my way.
I was like Cass is like making a bowl of fake ice cream.
I'm like right here. I literally just took this.
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you. Okay, so let's see here. Last time you guys went and found Ribbons' hideout in the back of the storage room of an underground secret criminal tavern called the Exploding Pig. You got some more monies. You found a folding boat. You found a weird potion that you haven't successfully identified. And you found a book of... What?
That's not true. We know it's made of potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know what it does.
We know it's a swirly potion, though.
That's true. What were you saying, Hillary? I'm sorry?
And it's pretty.
It is pretty. And you found a book of devotionals to Zariel that, like, kind of further explains, like, some of the tenets of the Zarielite religion by way of a stylized recounting of the claiming of Avernus for hell, Asmodeus's fall from grace and subsequent rise as the king of hell, and the trial of Asmodeus leading to the creation of the Pact Primeval as sort of an allegorical way to explain that people that follow Zariel do abhorrent things for reasons that they believe are specific and correct.
For the greater good.
Exactly. For them, it is not about being good or being right. It is about doing what must be done in order to preserve the order of the universe. And so, with this knowledge in hand, and that excellent meal of spicy jerked beef that Vert and Rhea and Lucina shared in your stomach, you have a couple of options once again, as we left off, to either once again direct your attention towards the Van Thamper Manor writ large, or the kind of like final lead that you have not investigated yet would be to go and visit the Low Lantern, which is a tavern down in the dock ward that Amric Van Thamper, aka the Harlequin, was using as a base of operations for his efforts to smuggle refugees into the city and equip them with forged documentation that made it legal for them to continue to reside within the city walls. And I had kind of left that to you all to decide in which direction you felt you wanted to go. So, again, I pose the question, Game Master to party. Rich people house or pirate boat?
Oh, come on. That's not even a question.
It's really not. I mean, we know which way we should go, but
pirates though.
Pirates though. Does anyone disagree with that? Just by the way.
No. No, I don't disagree.
Pirates are pretty fucking cool.
If we really want to rationalize it, we could like try to pretend that we're using them as a distraction.
I mean, if we. You did this to yourself, Marcus.
I don't know.
No,
I never.
I am fully aware that I did this to myself. That is why I spent, I don't know, like 45 minutes this morning after we finished watching anime, prepping the pirate boat.
Oh, well, now we shouldn't do it just to make him mad.
I know, right? So we should go see the peasants, see if they can start an uprising for us, right?
I do want my pirate boat, though.
Sure.
We have a pirate boat.
We've got a box of boats.
I want my pirate boat.
He just wants to meet them.
We've got an escape thingy from our pirate boat.
No, it can become a ship if you do this word twice, but we don't know what the word is.
Yeah, you still need to focus on learning the word. So it sounds like then you guys are interested in heading to the Low Lantern then. Do I have the right of it?
It's where the nipple is.
Sure.
It is. What? It is!
You're not wrong. I just had forgotten that you had drawn nipples on my map somehow.
Nice.
Lucina.
It's like the first thing we did.
I know, right?
Been there for months.
I stopped looking. Lucina, dear, if you will,
Yes?
please roll me a D2.
Oh, okay. Fuck, how do you...
Slash roll
Slash.
space 1D2.
You could also flip a coin.
Cool. So, I mean, that is essentially what I'm doing. As you wander back out of the undercellar and back out into the busy, teeming marketplaces of the wide, you will recall that your destination is in the Low Town. So you begin heading in that direction. Obviously, you will have to pass through the gates and, make your course, trying to avoid those words.
I was going to say my favorite thing about this game is Marcus avoiding saying Mickey Moe.
And I guess like the most direct route by the map, it looks like, is probably heading through the heap gate, which you all made many, many red swirls around at some point.
Listen, it's important.
When you would be coming back through this way, clearly.
Right, I'm just gonna delete that.
How do we know it's important?
And then
Hold on, I know.
proceed down that main thoroughfare past the label for the Elf Song Tavern at least, and past Baldur's Mouth and a couple of other locations, and eventually you will arrive at the Low Lantern. You know what? I'm less mad about the arrows than I am about the swirly like the tornado of red lines. Like,
Hang on a second.
oh, and now there's a green nipple.
Perfect. Yes.
You all are a bunch of children.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you, though.
No, hang on. Right, look, we need to make it obvious, right? So, it's clearly right here,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also something important here, and something important here.
Oh, come on.
Get another arrow in there to make sure it's obvious, you know.
Yeah,
Nice, perfect. Yes. Nice.
You know what? I'm actually legitimately impressed it has taken this long for
So-
one of you to draw a dick on the map. Like, how many
Listen.
sessions are we in? Like 30 now?
30
Listen.
seconds.
There's
Joke's
just
on
no
you, Marcus.
reason because we always have a dick in the party, Bo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I was gonna say, you shouldn't be
Joke's
so
on you,
violent
Marcus.
to
Yeah, I
yourself, Amaya.
Joke's on you, Marcus. I draw a dick on every map that we go into. It's just like tiny in a corner. somewhere.
You're just hiding it somewhere where I haven't noticed.
Calm down, Genevieve. You all right?
Anyway,
Have
As you
to get
are-
that reference.
as
it
you
up.
are on your way, you there is a moment where you hear someone yelling nearby, and you realize that they are it's somebody that's saying, "Oh God, look out!" And then can I get each of you to roll me a d20?
Each of us to roll a d20.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, get in there. Oh,
Oh.
Okay, well,
it's another brick.
I'm trying to decide if I should go with highest or lowest, because somehow,
Well, I
like,
guess it's down
that-
to fucking Hillary.
that splits between either Hillary or Amaya.
Re-roll off. Han, roll again.
Hold on, I'm dealing with dogs.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll go with there, since she seems to be slightly distracted.
Okay.
Yeah, so you all hear this, like, somebody, and it sounds like a wizened, like, elderly gentleman being like, "Oh God, look out!" And then, like, something hits you in the back of the head there, and kind of, like, causes you to stumble forward a little bit, just like a bolt from the blue. And a moment later, you realize that there's something that's got a bit of, like, weight and mass to it that has become tangled in your antlers.
Kilgore, search and destroy.
Right, and so the hamster, like, emerges from your pocket and, like squeaks its way up onto your shoulder and starts, like, looking around and making chittering sounds, and then, like, starts trying to scramble up, like, the side of your head, and you
I do
hear...
want to. I do want to point out that because it's in my antlers, I can't see it, so I have to look up. But my antlers are attached to my head, so when I look
my
up, they just
God.
go back.
Are you doing that thing where you keep spinning around trying to get a
Yes.
look at it?
Right,
The
and so
dog.
like Kilgore is like scrambling up the side of your face, and like now it's on top of your head as well. And then you hear what sounds like the hamster like chewing on fabric, or maybe like really stiff like paper or something. Just like
Can you try and
the
like, grab
rest
it
of
off
you,
him?
the rest
Oh,
of you
fuck.
see that a kite has fallen from the sky and has bonked Vert in the back of the head, and then like the tail of the kite and like the fabric of it and like the whole thing. There's like ribbons and like all kinds of just nonsense, like tangled in his antlers, and he's like violently thrashing around trying to see what is stuck to his head, and there's this hamster like dutifully chewing its way through the kite.
I just pissed myself laughing. You just go, guys, it's Ribbon's revenge.
Oh my god.
And so as this is happening, this older man who's wearing like a butler's outfit comes like running up to you all and kind of stops and hunches forward. He's got his hands on his thighs and he's just like he's like, oh god, I'm sorry about the kite.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Run,
You will.
run, you fool!
and then like coming up behind him is like a little girl in like a noble, like a fancy, like a noble, like you would think it would be the kind of dress that someone would wear if they were going to like a party or an event or something, but she is wearing it as though it were just her normal play clothes, and like she's got her little gloved hands like holding on to the other end of like the kite string, and she's like kind of like looking up at you from behind the butler with these like wide, like really concerned eyes because her kite is stuck in your antlers, and she's kind of like stuck between like staring at you, not sure if she needs to be like afraid or like just like thinking the whole thing is really novel. And then she sees the hamster like poke its head through the kite, and she's just like, "Oh my god, a hamster!"
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hold on.
Trees get or kites get caught in trees.
Here we go.
So I guess that was the closest.
Just this sound.
No.
And she's just like just staring like wide-eyed at the hamster, and the hamster is just like back at her, and yeah, the butler kind of like looks at the group of you, and he's just like, I am terribly sorry. A gust of wind caught the young mistress's kite, and it seems to have impacted your
Salted, my friend, I think you mean. Like,
deer.
What did you just say?
Uh,
Oh no.
Sir, I advise you to stop talking and remove the kite.
Quiet.
I can't remove whatever it is because I don't know. I can't see it.
Vert, I wasn't telling you to remove it. Your lovely little hamster's working on it. Just be patient.
Kilgore, we have found the perpetrators.
oh god.
You need to get your little other rat friend to come help.
can if I could just retrieve the young lady's things, we could be on our way, and this wouldn't have to be a problem anymore. I assure you.
Can
Oh.
I help untangle the kite?
I mean, I'm sure you can, but that is up to Vert whether or not he's going to resist your attempt to remove something from his antlers.
I'm too busy staring down the butler and the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl is still just kind of like slinked
Just
back
reaching.
behind the butler now.
Other
You
question
get-
is Lucina even reaching?
It does sound, Lucina, like you could try to like reach up and get the kite out of his antlers.
Yes, I will do that then.
Are you just sitting there with like itchy trigger fingers right now?
Yes.
Be like, Really? Think you might need to help smooth this over?
So
Maybe
here's a
if they've got
question.
bells? I don't know.
A question for you, Vert. Do you believe that having given the kill command, that as Lucida attempts to free the kite from your antlers,
I haven't
will
given the kill order to the people, just to the kite so far.
Oh, okay. I was like, do you think Kilgore would try to bite Lucida's hand?
No.
Okay.
I think we both recognize greater power when we have it messing in our head.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you are able to like very like carefully extricate the kite from Vert's antlers, and the little like noble girl kind of like shifts to the other side of the butler, and she's like looking up at you with these big like soulful like Disney character eyes, Lucina, and she's just like, "Can I have my kite back, pretty lady?"
It is mine now.
I will bop Veer on the nose as I hand the quote to the little girl.
Right, she takes the kite from you and just like kind of tries to like hug it to herself. It's a little too big for the gesture, and she's kind of like peeking out from behind it, and I think she holds it up and kind of like looks at you through the hole that the hamster has chewed in the kite, and she's just like, "Thank you," and like turns to run away to like go play.
You're letting her get away.
Yes, Spirit, I am. Because she's a child, and not just any child. She's the child of some kind of nobleman around here. We don't need that trouble.
She must provide recompense for her actions.
No, she does not need to do that.
I just go, Viet, as a child in Baldur's Gate, she'll get it.
I mean,
Ah,
is the butler still there?
yes. Yes. I will start praying to Bashaba at those words for her to smite this child.
Okay. Well, if you don't have inspiration already, please take it.
Yay. I didn't.
And same for you, Lucina.
Thank you.
And Ray, I think.
He did make my day better, but he made that little girl's probably worse.
But yeah, the old gentleman butler who's got like this kind of like bead of sweat going down the side of his face, like kind of glances amongst all of you, and like he has like the warmest expression towards you, Lucina, because you've been like directly helpful, whereas like Vert is a scary Wendigo deer man, and I don't know, Ray just like indirectly threatened his young ward, I think.
I refuse to become a victim.
And so he approaches you specifically, Lucina, and he reaches into his vest pocket, and he pulls out like this little kind of like riotously colored like fabric coin purse, and like, you know, like undoes the snaps and reaches in and pulls out like a single like platinum coin and just like holds it out to you.
Okay, so out of character, I'm conflicted on what to do on this, because I want to deny it since it wasn't a big deal. However, I know that at least 2 out of the party will pitch a fit if I don't accept it.
I mean, that's fair.
Are you taking your time whether to decide if you're taking it or not? Because like I'll just run up and go yoink.
Yoink.
Thank you much.
Thanks. Bye.
Are you actually running up and taking it?
I mean, I'll see.
Yeah, he's kind of like holding the coin towards you. Let's see if I can push you in one direction or the other. And he's just like, I just want to, for your trouble and his trouble, and also it's unusual to see such kind souls in Baldur's Gate. I want to reward you appropriately, and I'm sure her parents would like to reward you appropriately as well.
Listen, there is not enough money or psychological session time in the world to handle all of Veert's trouble.
Sure, but this guy thinks that a platinum piece must be enough, right? He like somewhere like you get this feeling from this guy's expression and the way he's behaving that like despite the fact that he's a member of like the servant staff of a noble house, he has been with this wealthy family for long enough that he doesn't understand what bananas cost. You know what I mean?
Is it? How much is that? $20?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will smile at the butler then and say, it really wasn't any trouble for me, so if you want to offer recompense, I would recommend offering it to Veer.
Of course. My apologies, my lady. You just seemed the most approachable. He kind of like slowly turns towards you, Vert, and still got the platinum coin in between his fingers, and he kind of like holds it out towards you, and he's just like, I suppose it was you who was struck by the young lady's kite. I hope this will be ample apology.
Ah, perfect. And I will take the coin and I will add it to my ritual as a focus against his family.
And face
Cool.
palm.
Yeah, I think once you take the coin, he just begins slowly backing away from you without turning his back to you and like repeatedly like bowing and just being like, yes, I'm sorry. I hope everything is good for the rest of your day. And he keeps doing this until he's like 20 or 30 feet away, and then he like turns and hustles in the other direction after the little girl.
Yes.
That was some great restraint there. I'm surprised you didn't pull your gun on him.
What?
Just saying that,
Some
like,
ideas.
I
I'm
thought-
too busy with my bad luck ritual.
yeah, never mind. We seen.
Yeah, give me a religion check, Vert.
Yes.
I'll give
Oh,
you
what?
advantage.
How is my religion so bad?
I don't
His
know, is your wisdom bad?
intelligence?
Or your intelligence? That's
Oh yeah, my intelligence is real shit. Oh,
Womp,
looks
womp.
like Lucina got her way again.
Yeah, so off you go. Or off they go. You continue your ritual for a little bit longer. It is unclear to you whether or not your ritual will have the desired effect. But
it makes me feel better.
but it makes you feel better. And
Yes.
before long they have cleared your vision and you are able to resume your course. I love the random encounter table. It's very dumb. So let me get my notes here. No, right. Gotta clear the search box. It's like, why is my
Note
note
here. Get
not
your
here?
notes here.
So yeah, it's probably well, let's see here. You guys what? You got up and the first thing you did was go to the wide, right? And then rooted around in Ribbons' like things.
Yes.
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 Okay, so it's probably about like mid-morning then still, because like I think for once like Ray actually got up in like decent time. So yeah, as you get like this is probably like the furthest down to like the docks you've probably been throughout most of your time here in Baldur's Gate, and so as you kind of like get down into the neighborhood, like early or like mid-morning fog has kind of rolled in off of the bay and casts this kind of obscuring blanket over like the whole area, making it so that like you cannot really see the low lantern until you are within about like 100 feet of it, except for this kind of like singular like lantern that is hung from like the prow of the ship that has like green glass panes encircling like the fire that is burning inside. So it casts this kind of like eerie greenish witch light in the fog that kind of like beckons you in the direction that you are meant to be going. And as you grow closer, you find that the Low Lantern itself is a converted like multi-desk ship, like with rigging but no sails, that has been anchored to the wharf by thick chains. And there is a wooden staircase that ascends to the deck of like the main deck of the ship from the wharf's edge, and it is very clear that this ship has seen better days and probably would not be fully seaworthy anymore, and that is why it has found new life as a dockside tavern. And let me just grab your player location flag.
I just realized I don't think I can go on that ship.
Why?
Are you okay?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oop, hold on.
That was just a controller taking a dive to the floor.
Mm.
So you all should see the nap. The nap? The
The
map.
nap.
Now.
Sorry, my dad keeps calling me, but no, I don't think I can get on the boat.
Why not?
I'm a forest person. I've probably never been on the sea before. That's just asking for a bad time.
We're in
I
Doctor.
mean, it's not really on the sea, though, is it? Like, it's in harbor. It's stuck to the like the dock. Like, there's no way this boat could leave.
Think of all the ways Bashaba could bless you if you go on the ship.
Hmm.
Could be spreading her influence all over the ship.
Shit, you right.
Shit, you right.
You're right. It isn't sunk. Yet.
Why is it always so creepy when he says it like that?
It isn't sunk yet.
Yet.
But yeah, so you should see the map of the wharf, like, and the main deck. Like, this is actually specifically like where you are is basically the edge of the dock or whatever, and then this up here is just like more like, or is the ship itself, right? So
Yeah.
Just to clarify, we do think there are people who are trying to kill us on the boat, correct?
Yes.
Wharf.
Also, no.
I imagine there's people trying to kill us everywhere we want to go. Good way to keep us safe.
That's
Hang on a sec. Are they all
Hang it.
bad guys on the boat?
you don't
No,
know.
no.
You know that a person that you suspect is bad and part of the cult has been hanging out, spending time here.
So I was honestly thinking about just blowing out the fucking wood and letting it sink, but
not if there's.
I mean, sure, go for it.
Oh my god.
I mean, there's possibly patrons of this place that have absolutely nothing to do with the cult.
Nah, they're probably occultists. Let's go.
for the greater good.
No.
Wrong.
We should make sure that there's no innocent people inside.
This
And
is
we
Wrong
could
place,
perhaps
wrong time.
find more information on the cult that would be lost if we just sink the ship.
It's a good point.
I will slowly put my guns back in their holsters.
And so yeah, as you're having this little like huddled conversation, up in the rigging of this, and like this is like a 2-masted ship, right? And so it's got like all of the rigging lines and like the climbing nets and everything. But like up on the cross beam that would have at one point held sails that have since been removed to keep the fabric rot from setting in, there is like a couple of ravens, it looks like, that have kind of like done that little like bird hop like down the span, and are both just like looking down at you with their like beady like empty black bird eyes, and they're just intently staring at you, and they just like kind of like caw at you, right? Like just kind of like threatening you and drawing
I
attention
can
to themselves.
hear you in there. Don't even fucking think about it.
I don't know, man. I was thinking about going,
It's okay,
that's spies, and then throwing darts. at
No.
them.
I can't do it. My throat's too hoarse. I can do a pretty impressive Raven impersonation though.
I'll believe it.
But-
He's still in there trying.
I mean,
No, my throat's too dry. I can't do it.
I'm gonna throw a dart at one of these fucking birds, because spies and shit.
Well,
Paranoid.
What did you do? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to throw a dart at one of these birds because I'm paranoid. We were just talking about everyone wants to kill us.
I mean, if you want them shot down, all you have to
if
do is
ravens or
ask.
anything like crows, just flick something shiny at them.
Shiny, you
Dart
say?
tiny.
Let me just just throw
I
some-
have this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna use the cantrip dancing lights just near the. How was that? 120 feet. So they're all in range, just to sort of like put it around their heads and spin around them a little bit, and just make them go ooh.
I mean, I've thrown a dart at the closest ones.
I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. One thing at a time. So dancing lights happens, right? The
Right.
birds are surrounded by a bunch of like twinkly, like magical lights, and they're kind of like looking around a little bit confused. And then it sounds like Shanks has already declared that he wants to make an attack. So go ahead and give me an attack roll with your dart at disadvantage, because they're a small target and they're up above you, and now they're surrounded by a bunch of shady blinking lights.
And I was just gonna say, I have this headcanon that because Bo loves money so much, I just imagine that all of his coins are like mirror polished finish. You know what I mean? Like he spends every night like cleaning his coins like Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the time to do that. He loses them just as fast.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
well, fair.
All right. Well, you hit either way, so go ahead and roll damage for me. All right, cool. So yeah, you hit this one like right here, and you do an amount of damage, and like the raven like immediately like lifts off and like flies away, like heading in towards the city. And the like with the dart like still stuck in its side, right? And it just like flies away.
That's not fucking normal. These things are spies. Get them.
And then the other raven like caws at you, like as though it's like chastising you for attacking its friend, and then it also lifts off and flies away.
I can't help but feel there was a better way to handle.
I wouldn't have missed.
I didn't miss.
Oh, Lord.
Just didn't kill it.
I mean, I tried to shoo them off, but they just enjoyed it.
It seems that way.
So what
we go on-
now?
We go on the boat.
I just walk ahead of the group like, so now I guess we go in. There's not really anything else to do.
Oh, sure, let's go.
And so I walk onto the boat.
Yeah, so as you step up onto the deck, Let's see here. The main deck features wooden steps that climb to the forecastle and the aft castle, and another set of stairs descends into the ship. A padlock wooden hatch fitted with windows acts as a skylight for the deck below. You see the tavern proper through the hazy, aging glass. 4 dead seagulls lie on the deck.
Oh.
Actually 5, but regardless. There's just like dead seagull corpses just like littering the deck of the boat.
I turned
Telling
to
you,
Bo
man,
and I'm
with
like,
those
ah,
fucking crows.
probably a good thing we got rid of the crows.
I'm telling you, man. Sketchy
Well, that's
bastards.
not disconcerting at all.
So I move up to examine and see what actually happened to them.
Sure. Give me either a nature or a medicine check.
I will roll shit on either one. Let's see.
Can I assist?
Yes, you absolutely can.
So with advantage. Ha!
Excellent. Okay, so as you kind of like walk over, do you like crouch down and like poke at the corpse, or are you just like examining it from a distance? Like how close in are you?
I sort of crouched down on my knees, knees bending down, just kind of like looking over them, not touching them because they're dead. Fuck those, will get on my hands.
Sure. Yeah, I mean with a 15, it does not look like this is like the result of like birds fighting with each other, right? Or even like being shot with like a bow or a crossbow, or having a dart thrown at them, like Bo Sing Bo just did to those ravens, right? Like these seagulls seem to have like died of disease, maybe, or possibly poison. Maybe it was something they ate. Like just examining the body in a cursory manner without like picking it up and like turning it over and like going through the feathers to see if there's like small wounds. Like it looks like they were just flying and then they fell and they hit the deck dead.
Can I actually do that? I'm pretty good at nature.
Sure.
Okay. Oh no, I'm not. What? Fuck this. Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, Mom is helping you. You get the advantage roll,
Okay.
and you are actually willing to like get in there and get your hands dirty.
Yes.
So, as you pick up one of them and start kind of like going over it and like checking it and running your fingers through like its feathers, you find that like each of the seagulls that you check like has a small puncture wound in it. But not like from a crossbow bolt or a dart. More like a stinger, like a scorpion stinger or something like that. That clearly like hit this bird and injected it with like a necrotizing like venom.
It appears that something stung these birds and injected them with some kind of necrotizing substance.
I
So
sit there
there's a scorpion
flabbergasted.
going-
Feared, where did you learn such big words?
I read.
I'm just gonna draw attention to this particular.
That fucking token is amazing.
Yeah, and
So is
Rhea
this like
kind of
the skylight then?
It's hilarious.
yeah, that looks down into the tavern below. You can see kind of like looking down through that there's like a handful of people that have already like pulled up to the bar for early morning day drinking.
My crowd.
And there is the bartender behind the bar that you can kind of like get a look at if you move just so appears to be a being of like average height, like maybe like 5'5", 5'6", kind of like light, spindly build, completely covered in bright colored plumage. It appears to be a parrot person.
A parrot
Oh.
person.
Yes.
I don't see many of those in Baldur's Gate.
And there appears to be a halfling sitting at the bar with a mug of ale in their hands, the size of their head.
Oh,
So Bo.
so beautiful. So
So
yeah,
what do
I tell them what I saw and say what's the plan. It just looks like people are like day drinking. Kind of want to go down and join them.
I join in. It's like, as much as I would like to tell him no, blending in and having a few drinks with the crowd might be the best idea.
Yeah, I think Rhea kind of comes up the steps, and as this conversation is happening, and she kind of like, you know, looks around, sees the bird bodies, and kind of just like makes a concerned expression, but lets it go because it seems like you guys have it under control, or at least have kind of sussed out the situation. And she's like, "Oh, I remember this place. I was actually on my way here the night that I met Vert and Bo in that alley."
You mean when
Why?
we saved you?
And she kind of like flushes a little bit and looks down, both between like Bo Singball's question of why and Vert's like firm assertion the night that we saved you, right? And she's like, well, I had heard that there was a man here who was taking advantage of the refugees. He was selling them immigration papers that were probably counterfeit and taking their money. And I'd also heard about the murders at that point, so I thought maybe the two were connected, and I was going to come try and meet him, and if it turned out that he was a bad person, I was probably going to try to kill him.
Solid
I'm
plan.
so proud of you.
Yeah, and she looks over at Vert, and she's just like, it felt like it was a time for decisive action, and she kind of like hits her open palm with the other fist, right? Like very like resolute gesture, and she's like, but then, I saw that person being kidnapped, so I went to try to rescue them, and that's when you guys showed up, and I've been with you guys ever since, and I just completely forgot about this place until now.
Well, I guess it's time to follow up.
Lead
Yeah.
the way.
Okay. Right. Do you
Oh, no,
look
I
down
meant
to
Rhea.
everyone? I know you did.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me why is there a green rectangle on my map? Real areas.
You fucking
Maybe-
what, mate?
You what, mate?
I'll bash your fucking head in, I swear on me mum.
Swear me, mum. Fucking have you, mate.
I don't know. Why is that doing that? There we go. You should be able to see now. There are shanks on the the
Yeah,
middle
I
map.
can.
Okay. Move my people over here.
I mean, yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
I'll put you on the stairs.
So, here's another mechanical question. Can I even fit down there?
I mean, I'm
You know-
sure you're probably like hunched, like ducking. Like, I guess you don't have to go inside if you don't want to, right?
How,
'Cause, like,
how about I
you've
just stay up on the deck and keep watch?
you stay up on the
How
deck.
about you
and
stay up
keep
on the
watch?
deck with Rhea and keep watch, because she'll stick out like a sore thumb.
She's the guide. You have to take Rhea.
Well, she's not actually been here before. She just knew that this is where she should go.
Listen. This is part of growing up, okay? You have to make your dentist appointments yourself now.
So it's like this the bar?
Yeah, that's the bar.
Can I
Yeah,
get a
but
meal,
also,
please?
you know, it's more fun to leave her with you.
No, I can't argue with that.
So yeah, as you come in, there is this collection of people in like stereotypical like piratey garb. There's this halfling in glasses and a funny hat, like drinking a out of a a stein that's as big as his own head, and he's like kind of chatting to this parrot person behind the bar who is serving as bartender, and he's just like, and so then I had to scrape the barnacles off the bottom side of this boat, and they just hung me there on this rope, and I swear to God, I thought if I slipped, I was going to get my neck caught, and then I was just going to die, and that would be the end of me. And the parrot just kind of like nods sagely and doesn't say anything. He kind of ruffles his feathers a little bit. And then this woman that's like sitting here at the corner of the bar who has this kind of like flower on her cap. Oops, that's not the right one. Looks a little older, has a crab kind of like skittering around her, and she's got like a logbook open that she is taking notes in, and she's clearly like kind of listening to what the halfling is saying, but really not paying that much attention. And then the rest of the people in the room, you have a gentleman who is wearing like a Flaming Fist uniform, who is sitting at a table with a dark-skinned, like white-haired, like deep dwarf, and they are like rolling bones and just like talking. And then at this table over here, there is a pair of like dark-skinned, like white-haired elves who are wearing like black cloaks, and they've got their hoods pulled up, and they're sitting kind of like huddled close together, and like they're sharing like a single plate of breakfast, and then each of them has like a mug to themselves, and they're kind of like whispering to one another and seemingly trying to avoid the attention of the rest of the patrons. And then there's a young, like, half-elf woman who is having her breakfast that's sitting over here by herself. And then at kind of the back end of the room over here is a sailor who has that same kind of, like, complexion and, like, facial features reminiscent of your dear friend Pal, who is a transplant from the Sholung Empire. And it seems like it's, you know, busy-ish for as early in the morning as it is, and as you approach the bar, Master Baugh, the kind of parrot person like turns his attention to you as the newcomer, and like blinks at you a couple of times, and then opens his beak and is just like, what do you have?
Just have an ale, I guess.
Yeah, and he's just like, cheap or expensive?
Cheap. Fuck it.
Yeah, and he's like, bilge water, and then like turns around and starts like pouring like a mug from the tap, and then like sets it on the bar in front of you.
Oh, can't be any worse than the last drink I had today.
Probably not.
What was the last drink you had today?
That
Like,
turpentine that the dude made him drink?
Yeah.
Am I still poisoned for that, by the way?
I don't know if anybody did a remove disease on you or whatever.
Probably not.
So yeah, probably still a little poisoned. Like as far as the drink goes, though, like it tastes, you know, it tastes like beer. It tastes like incredibly like watered down beer. It also tastes a little salty.
The fuck?
Like maybe they watered this one down with actual seawater.
Okay.
But to his credit, like after he hands you the beer, like he's just like, 2 coppers for the bilge.
Oh, sweet. There you go.
Yeah, it's very cheap.
Well, can't complain at those prices. Fuck.
Yeah. Now, what do the rest of you do, since Bo has found himself a drink and is occupying the parrot's attention for the moment?
I'll order a drink as well, and I'll just say, I'll have the more expensive ale, please.
Yeah, and he kind of turns and looks at you, and he's like, right away! And like, he goes to like the nicer looking keg and pours this kind of like rich, like deep brown ale in a mug, and like sets it on the bar in front of you, and he's like, 2 silvers.
And I'll hand over the 2 silvers, and I'll turn to Bo, and I'll just be like, it's no bad, eh? Enjoy your piss water.
Yeah,
I'll
yours
Hello.
yours is like deep amber, and like it smells like boozy and like tropical fruit, and has this kind of like jammy like flavor to it. Very high alcohol content for a beer, and seemingly made with like exotic like imported fruit that you can't quite place as you drink it, but it's very delicious.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it with me, and I'm just gonna go to the table over here, and I'm just gonna back into the halfling at the other end. So there's room for one more.
Oh, the half elf? Yeah. She kind of looks up and she's like, suppose it's a free ship?
I'll give a nod and a hearty smile, and I'll sit down at the table. I'll just put mine there. There we go.
Sure.
And I'll just take a nice swig and just ask her what brings her here at this time in the morning.
Oh, I live in this district. And the food here is actually pretty good. And the captain, and she kind of like indicates the woman with the kind of like blue flower on her hat that's sitting at the end of the bar. The captain has an interesting business relationship with the ships that sail in from Chult. It's how she gets the fruit and the other exotic foods that she offers on her menu. Well, I don't get out much, so it's the closest thing to adventure I ever get.
I give it a nod and a smile, and it's like, I'll need to make sure to order some breakfast then.
Yes, it's really quite good. I didn't know you could serve jellyfish so many ways.
And I give a smile and then Tavanara a drink and fuck, where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I was going somewhere with this.
You're just flirting with the barmaid. Classic bard.
No, I'm not flirting with the barmaid. Fuck off. I take pride in not flirting as a bard, unless absolutely have to.
Mhm.
Isn't that right, Mom?
Don't make me cry again.
I know.
Well-
Don't be mean to mom.
I will give you a moment to think about what your approach was while I
I had it
skip
and
over.
then it's gone. Sorry.
Siani, Lucina, you both have come down into this bar. What catches your attention? Do you get a drink? Do you mingle? I should note also there is another staircase, kind of situated right here next to Ray's token that actually does descend like deeper down into the further like lower decks, right?
Hmm.
Seating down there?
Oh, do you ask if there's more seating downstairs?
Yeah, sure, I'll ask the bartender.
Yeah, the bartender kind of looks over and like he kind of ruffles his feathers a little bit and he nods and he's just like, Church Bells works downstairs.
Church bells.
Ah,
Well, Siani, shall we get a drink and maybe head down a deck?
Sounds like an idea.
I want that fruity ale. Fruity ale sounds good.
yeah.
Want
So
that
you
grape juice.
you kind of sneak in. He provides you both with a mug of the fresh fruity ale, and then you can head down the stairs, and I will move your tokens accordingly. As you come down the stairs, you both see there's a gentleman sitting. Like he's kind of like actually leaning against this is like a support beam of like the deck above you. Probably connects all the way up to like a mast or something on the main deck, and he's just kind of like leaning there, like cleaning like his teeth with a toothpick, and he looks up as you come down and he like gives you a nod and then just like goes back about his business, like, you know, average rough and tumble dockside sailor.
My map has done some weird shit. Oh, there we go. It's
Hi.
fine. It did that thing where it went all grey again. Apparently, I just moved my token and it's fine.
Strange.
Where shall we sit, Siani?
Well, plenty of open tables, or we could go to the bar.
But we have
Yeah.
a seat right here.
All right, that sounds good.
So yeah, as
Yeah.
you come in and find your table, like again, this woman over here appears to be like one of the typical like pirate types, as does this gentleman up here. This gentleman, however, at the bar, looking all scar-faced and handsome,
Sorry.
kind of he stands out as being like not necessarily the usual kind of patron that you feel like you would see in this kind of place. Also standing behind the bar, I did notice that Ray like immediately jumped downstairs to see the handsome guy. Is a kinku who is wearing like a fancy tricorn hat with what appears to be a peacock feather in it, and he is dutifully cleaning mugs behind the bar. But yeah, most of the patrons don't really seem to take that much notice of you. But given your rather high passive perception, Lucina, I think you do note that like, whereas the other patrons just kind of like do that thing where it's like, oh, somebody came in and they look up and then they go back to their business, like they don't care. The scar-faced like handsome boy at the bar, like when he takes note of the two of you, like his gaze like lingers on you longer than is comfortable, perhaps. Like he is mentally taking stock of the fact that you are here, but he's trying to be subtle about it, right? He's doing that thing where he's like trying to only look at you out of the corner of his eye.
Since my back is most likely to him sitting at this table, I will make hopefully understandable hand gestures to Siani to keep an eye on the guy behind me.
To which she will give a mostly imperceptible nod,
Sure.
because she's already been getting the heebies off the sensation that there's eyes on her, not so much that she's been directly looking.
Sure. Yeah, and give me a perception check if you would, Siani.
Heebies might even just be that wrong thing. Bad.
Oh, she's playing the drums again.
That's hard, just try to
I
act
mean-
natural.
Oh my god!
On that note, I will actually be right back.
Okay.
Yikes.
So yeah.
That's gonna be a yikes from me, dog.
So yeah, we cut back to the top deck, and you are outside standing guard, and Rhea is standing nearby. Vert, I think she's probably actually standing on the other side of the gangplank, and she kind of looks over at you. Like it's been a few like long silent moments after everybody else went back downstairs. She kind of looks at you, Vert, and she's like, "Did you actually mean what you said?"
You'll have to be a little more specific.
And she kind of like makes a face, and she's like, when I said I was planning on finding out whether or not that Harlequin person was a bad man, and if so, I was going to kill him. You said that was good.
Yes, absolutely. You should kill those who get in your way, or who hinder your objectives.
Well, that's not exactly why I was going to kill him, but
Oh?
I mean, I just want my people to be safe, Vert. I don't want anyone to take advantage of them or hurt them or kill them or steal their souls or whatever it is that this cult is doing. Like, I can't let this stand.
You refuse to become a victim and won't allow others to be victimized.
Yeah, and she thinks about that for a moment. She's like, yeah, I think that's right.
You and I have more in common than you thought. I share a similar view of the world.
And she kind of tilts her head, and she's like, I'm not sure I follow.
Let's just say that... What's the way to put this that won't make you want to jump off this boat? I am happy to hear that you are willing to go so far as to kill this person. Murder, if that is the word that we intend to use in this company, is a much more effective tool than many people give it credit for.
She makes a face at that, I think, right? Like the word murder to her, like, gives her that same kind of expression that, like, a child gets when they taste something bitter that they don't like, right?
Okay.
And she kind of, like, shakes her head lightly, and she's like, I don't think it would be murder, though, Vert. I mean, to some people, I suppose, but self-defense, right?
Call it whatever you like that soothes your conscience. It's the same thing. That's my point.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh, you're going
Persuasion? Oh, I'm bad at that. That's not terrible.
A 14,
minus
though.
1. Fucking hell.
Yeah, and you kind of like say it's the same thing, and that's my point. And she kind of like regards you in a way that, like, I don't think you've actually seen her look at you before. Like, she normally, like, does what you say, right? Because you're a more experienced adventurer, but, like, there's often an air of, like, she's doing what you say because she doesn't want you to, like, yell at her or hurt her. But, like, she's actually taking you seriously now.
Oh no.
Of course she is. I'm speaking the truth. Call it whatever you like, but we all do it, and it's very effective at solving our problems. If you need meat, you go kill something. If you need something done, you may have to kill someone. That's just how the world works. It's not good and it's not bad. It simply is.
Yeah, and she kind of like bites at her lower lip for a second, and she's like, "Well, I don't think I can see the world in the same context that you do, but I at least think I understand you better now."
Good. I'm glad we had this little chat.
Yeah, and she nods.
Perhaps we can understand each other better as we go along.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna continue on this mission and hopefully eventually go deal with the head of the cult, I suppose it would behoove us to figure out how to work together better, right? Right.
Yes. I'm not quite sure how to say this, like, in character, but you know the phrase from Wreck-It Ralph, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What's, like, the opposite of that? Like, Vert's a bad guy, but he's not... Vert's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy, you know?
Right. Like, just because I'm
evil?
A cruel person or whatever doesn't mean that I'm... Yeah, or whatever. Like, I understand what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's an extreme, but like to you, it's necessary or whatever.
Yeah. Actually, I just finished watching the first season of The Punisher. I feel like he and Vert share a lot of ideologies.
I love The Punisher.
Isn't he great?
Such a good movie. They picked the right actor for it too.
Yeah. I mean, just the same as Vert, you know, you do what you got to do because you got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If people get killed, I guess that's
just
bad luck.
This means I'm not going to be doing any shit again. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I just guess that's bad luck.
And what's interesting too is that like that point of view like aligns you ideologically with the Zariel cult, right?
Oh.
Like,
Interesting. They're neutral evil as well?
well, they are technically lawful evil, but like they skew much harder in the law direction, but it is like the law as they understand it, right? So like
Gotcha.
because the order of the universe needs to be maintained no matter what, you can do whatever needs to be done in its service.
Okay, that's kind of a reach, but I get you.
But like you'll do whatever you need to do to protect yourself, right? Like
And my friends.
and your friends, like
My minions.
that is your code in a way. So like you are preserving what is yours, and they are preserving what they feel is like the order of the universe, and they're willing to do whatever it takes in the same way that you are.
The way I see it is Virt won't go out of his way to help someone like Lucina can, but he also won't hesitate to kill someone if it needs to be done.
Yeah. I guess you aren't the same as them, but you are ideologically similar, I guess
Okay.
is more appropriate.
Interesting.
Zariel cult light.
But yeah, so
High life.
meanwhile,
Zariel called High Life.
Zariel cult
Siani,
light. Like,
The rat king of ideologies.
oh my god. So Siani, you biffed your perception check.
Oh yeah.
What is distracting you?
People, boat, walls.
Right. So you're just kind of in that sort of once again new odd situation, a little uncomfortable. You I think we get that awkward moment where like Lucina makes that gesture or whatever, and you kind of like subtly nod, and then you try to like keep your eye on the guy sitting at the bar, and we get that like you're looking at him and he sees you looking at him, and like you kind of get like that moment of eye contact, and then he like quickly looks away in that like awkward like no, I wasn't looking at you kind of way.
aw. I think they're into each other. Like,
And he like you kind of see like he turns away from you so that like his back is now like fully to both of you. And like he's probably just like drinking or whatever. Like the Kinku comes over and like sets another mug in front of him, and like opens his beak and makes the sound of like coins like clattering on the bar top. And you hear the man in question just go, yeah, I get it. And he like reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a couple of like bits of loose change and just like sets it on the bar. And the Kinku like disappears it with his feathered hand and wanders back to the other end of the bar. He keeps drinking for a little bit. So Ray, you figure out what your line of questioning was? Do you remember?
Kind of more just chatting to her about Baldur's Gate and chatting to her about about her adventuring a little bit, and maybe buying her a drink, and we're both just sitting having breakfast.
Sure. I think over the course of like that short conversation that you have with her, you find out that her name is Kislin, and she works at like Grey Mantle's stables and menagerie, right? Like the zoo outside of town.
The zoo, you say?
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I work at the menagerie. I help take care of some of the stranger animals. Like I said, I've never so much as set foot a mile beyond Baldur's Gate in my entire life, but working at the zoo, I get to see all kinds of interesting creatures, and the family takes very good care of its employees. I make good money, and I come here to have exotic food and interesting company, and she kind of like motions around the room as like that Draugr, the kind of like black skinned like dwarf, like throws up his hands and yells something in a language that you don't understand, and like the flaming fist guy that he's been gambling with like smacks the table and he's like, "You cheating piece of shit! Let's go another round," and sits back down. She's like, "Sometimes it gets a little rowdy, but for the most part, I like it here."
And I give a little chuckle, and I was like, well, there are certainly worse places in Baldur's Gate to be.
Oh, absolutely.
So what kind of animals? What are the stranger animals you've got in this animal emporium?
Have you ever heard of a giraffe before?
I'm just gonna shocked Pikachu face. No way. I've only.
Yeah, we have a giraffe. We have an elephant. Do you know what dinosaurs are?
Oh my god.
I just sort of perk up like. Those are the things that have bones everywhere, right?
Well, I don't know much about that. I just know that they're big, like lizards from Chult. We brought them in on a boat. I guess a couple of people died in the process. But yeah, we have these enclosures that kind of magically recreate the jungle rainforest of Chult, and we keep these strange beasts, and people come to see them. We feed them goats. It's a real show when they're hungry. Just blood everywhere. It's amazing.
I just roar and I'm like, ha ha! Oh, that's amazing! I have to come and see with one of my friends.
Yeah, you should definitely come see.
What would it take to get up close and personal with it? Does Siani have to actually see them, or does she have to?
She has to spend time like observing them. She doesn't necessarily have to touch them.
Okay, right. So I wonder what it would take to just have some time at the zoo overall over the course of a day or something, and me and my friend can just go around and get a good look at everything. How can you get us a good deal?
I don't know. I really shouldn't like promise things. I just feed the animals, and I occasionally I clean their scales. Ticketing isn't really my area of employment, you know?
I give her a nod and like, yeah, no, I totally get that. But if you can point us in the right direction, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, give me a persuasion check.
It's a good thing I have a natural 10 on this.
Yeah. Okay. You chat her up a little bit more, and eventually she's finally like, okay, look, if you and your friends come by anytime in the next couple of days, you know where it is, right? It's just outside the main gate.
I just like agree and just like, yeah, I've been in Baldur's Gate more than a few times.
Yeah, and she nods and she's like, just look, if Hugo's the one that's manning the gate to the menagerie, just tell him, you know, you're friends with me, and he'll cut you a deal, probably, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just give a smile and say that's more than enough. I really appreciate that, and I'll chuck a couple of silver down and just say, next drink's on me.
And she's like, oh, well, thank you. I really must be going though. It's been very nice to meet you. What was your name again? I don't think I caught that.
Oh, sorry, my bad. My name is Ray. I'm doing some investigations for the Flaming Fist about all these horrific murders, and I'll just openly say this out loud and just have a little nosy around and see if anyone perks up.
Yeah, like she like covers her mouth with her hand, like looking a little scandalized, right? As she's stood up, getting ready to leave. I do think like the parrot is just like continuing to do his job as the bartender. The two people that are gambling, the Draugr and the Flaming Fist like soldier, are like deep into their game of dice and really are not paying you any attention. But I think the Drow twins and the show and the captain all kind of like turn their attention towards you when you say like a little bit louder that you're working for the Flaming Fist and that you're doing an investigation. But yeah, like Kislin for her part is just like, well, I hope everything goes well, and I hope you don't get in any trouble. The murders have been horrible. I hope you get to the bottom of it, but I am actually late for work. So I should be going. And she like excuses herself like as quickly as she can.
I give her a heavy wave and it's like, nice meeting you, Kislin.
Yeah, and she's like, no, it was really nice meeting you too. I hope you make it to the zoo with your friend. And then she's just like gone.
Fucking crazy man, he's gonna die down here. I'll get the fuck out.
And I'm just gonna walk up to here and just go, another drink, please.
Yeah, Parrot comes back over and just like, another fruit.
It's a hearty nod, just like, yes, please.
Yeah, and he fills your mug back up, and since you're standing on the corner of the bar there next to like the captain, she kind of like leans over towards you a little bit, and she's just like, so you're working for the Fist, huh?
I give her a. I'll just go to Clatter. I'll just go, one more, please. And then as he hands me one, I'll pass it to her, and then I'll get the next one that appears.
Yeah, she kind of laughs, and she's like, you realize I own this tavern, boy.
And I'm like, yeah, I am aware. But don't worry, I gotta pay your dues somehow. Don't want you missing out.
Fair enough. Yeah, and she kind of points like catty corner across the bar at Bosing Baw, and she's just like, he came in with you. You also investigating, short one?
Yeah.
She nods. She's just like, so, ventures then, is it?
Well, drink just now, I guess.
I turn to her and I'm like, look, I know what you're thinking. Oh god, these horrific people come sniffing around here, looking for trouble. I know personally, the Flaming Fist are just a bunch of tossers.
Tossers.
She kind of chuckles at that. She's like, I don't have much of an appreciation for the Fist.
What is a tosser?
Oh,
You're a fucking tosser.
I'm so confused.
I'll say
So, I thought, yeah, and I'm just like, listen, we came into town helping some refugees. They pulled us into this goddamn murder investigation because they're thick. I mean, we knew that anyway, but goddamn are they thick.
Oh, I'm aware of how thick they are.
And I don't just mean their member. Ha ha!
She chuckles like, yes, that was a joke. It's unclear whether or not she thinks you are actually funny or not. But yeah, she's just like, so I get the part where you're doing work for the Fist because they're idiots. The part I don't understand is what brings you onto my boat.
I give her just a quick rundown of, there's really actually cults, gasp and all that.
They're killing people.
They're killing people, and we're on this boat to
Thanks for
try and
fucking
find one of them. And also, my halfling wanted to drink.
No. Can I insight check her when I'm like he's talking to her? See if she's like.
Yeah,
If
you
she
can.
thinks
No,
if she's trying to hide something,
Do you
or
know
if
what?
like she's actually on the
let
level.
me check something real quick because I can do something here.
Can you know?
I can. I just need to read it right.
You think you can do something?
how obvious would it be if I did this?
Pretty obvious.
Let me see what it is. Verbal and somatic components. Yeah, like pretty obvious.
Okay,
Like
that's fine.
I'm a cop, obvious.
Okay, that's fair. That's more of a thing I would use to preset up, essentially.
Yeah, like if you could have found a way to like make a huge distraction to draw people's attention away from you, or like is it like a cylinder? Or it's a sphere. Like, theoretically, if you knew you had needed it, like, ahead of time, you could have, like, cast it on the deck, and it might have, like, extended down through, like, the skylight or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, just casting it here now in the room, like, everyone in the room would be aware of what you're
Okay,
doing.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I was just curious.
That's fair. I'm just making it clear.
Yeah. So,
but
we'll think ball rolled insight.
as for your insight, with a 12, you do okay. You don't get any like bad vibes off of her, right? Like there's nothing. Like she doesn't seem like she's threatened by you, and she doesn't seem like she's trying to threaten you necessarily. You get the feeling that she's probably not being entirely forthright with you, but she's also like a pirate ship captain, so like, eh.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah,
I'll continue my conversation, and I'm just like, right. So the fact that I'm here looking for someone that site, you're all looking a little dreary this morning. Can I interest you in some music from across the way, just to cheer us up at this ridiculous hour in the morning?
And she kind of like quirks an eyebrow, and she's just like, you know what time it is, right?
Audible groan from both, like, oh, not again.
I actually forgot what time it actually was, so...
Yeah, she's like, some of these folks only just woke up.
Amen.
Well, maybe I'll come back later then, and I'll...
She's like, I've got open mic night downstairs every night if you want.
Absolutely. That sounds like a brilliant idea. Oh, you have no idea how much it just gets me going to see people just jump for joy and being happy and just pleasing a crowd and letting them have a good night.
She laughs and she nods, and then she kind of reaches over and puts a very firm hand like on the side of your arm, right? And she's like, I get it, Bard boy. You still not answered me question. What brings you to my boat?
The investigations have led us here, and someone on board is not exactly a good person.
She kind
I
of
realize
like looks
this
around.
is a pirate ship.
Yeah, she like looks around and she like points to like the woman like in the back right corner with like the kind of like puffy afro or whatever, and she's like, Sophie, you've been kicking puppies again. And she just kind of laughs, and then she looks back at you and she's like, try again. Talking around the barrel isn't any good when you're trying to fire the cannon.
What bitch?
Gonna fucking bend you over the bar at this rate, man. Fuck.
I love this woman.
Oh no!
Get on with it!
No, I just look at her and say, "How many nobles are here right now? We have
none.
We have
None. Right now, none.
Right now, none. Is there anyone who looks noble-like? Because we have a sneaky suspicion that the cultists originate from a noble house. Any weird faces that aren't normally here? Anyone who's acting a
Just
little more
saying.
suspicious than usual.
Have you heard of the Harlequin? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you say that, and she does this thing where she leans back like slightly on her stool, and like her little like crab familiar like ambles its way over the top of the logbook that she's working on, and kind of like makes its way down the bar to you, Bo, and like
Mate.
stops in front of you and holds up like its big like fiddler claw and like snaps at you a couple of times. And she kind of like grins at you with this like wolfish like I know something you don't know like expression, and she's like, "Oh,
I've got a pretty good idea what it is, but
what's it worth to you, wee man?"
I don't know. Your crab's looking quite nice. Like, pick out for me.
Well, he's looking for pay. Is what he's doing.
Oh. I don't know, man. Like, you could just be fucking taking me for a ride here and like leading me on, stealing my money. Wouldn't be the first time I've like take advantage of.
I'll just give her a nudge and say, "Don't mind him. That's just the infamous boasting ball."
Never heard of him, mate.
She laughs and looks at you, and then looks at him, and then she's just like, "You kidding me? That's him."
No. They're just very similar. Her
And he
boasting
is
ball
for
has black
trade.
hair.
They just happen to both be halflings, have black hair, and be called boasting ball.
I've got tartan hair, sir, I think.
Tartan
Yeah.
hair. My bad. My bad.
She's like, his hair doesn't match the stories. I'm not sure if you're taking me for a ride or not, but if he really is..."
I mean, how else do you think he's blended in?
And she's like, "Look, you trade me him so that I can give him to the people that need him, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know."
Done.
Take the deal.
Yeah.
How
I'll
are you
ask if she's
feeling
much of a
about this?
gambler. You're willing to gamble the information. If you win, you can take me and keep the information. If I win, you give me the information and let me go.
And she kind of like narrows her eyes, and she's just like, "Heard you have a tendency to skip out on the pot when you lose."
Well, I'm sure you're not scared of me getting away, considering this is your ship, you know?
That's fair. I've got you below decks on my dinghy.
Heard you're on a tight ship, not a shite tip.
She kind of thinks about it, and she's like, "All right, willing. Dice, cards, darts. What's your game?"
Captain's choice.
All right then. Come on. Let's go downstairs. A little bit more room.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll just quickly grab the bartender. Just like, can I get 3 more? 1 for me and 2 for my companions downstairs. Thanks.
And produces the drinks. So, Lucina, Siani, Bo comes downstairs along with this fancy-looking woman with a rose on the side of her hat. And like makes for your table, since it is a like one of the larger tables down here, and she kind of like regards the two of you, and she's just like, "You two mind if me and my halfling friend here have a seat? Are about to play a game."
So I will make a welcoming gesture and say, by all means.
I pass her the ale, just saying, you're gonna need this.
Oh.
Right.
How far below deck are they?
They are now 2 decks down.
Okay, but how far is that?
I don't know, like 20 feet maybe?
Okay, cool.
Why?
I just want to know.
Okay, no, I just curious, but moving on. So yeah,
she's double fisting.
she sits down and she reaches into her coat and she produces a fine set of dice made out of like probably like whalebone or something of the sort. And she sets them on the table and she's like, "All right then, stakes are simple enough."
I'll
You
give
win.
I just interrupt her and say, hang on a second. Do you mind if I check these dice just to make sure it's fair and all?
She kind of regards you appraisingly, like she's trying to decide whether or not you're intending on cheating in some regard, and she ultimately shrugs, and she's just like, fine.
Okay, so I will roll. What am I rolling? Perception.
Yeah.
And I
They
will use
seem-
my inspiration because I want to do it again.
Sure.
That's better.
They seem perfectly legitimate to you.
Okay. And I just put them straight back down. And I'm like, I just want to make sure it's fair for my friend here, you know. Because he's a cheating bastard and he may have already done something to them, you know.
Why do you think we're using her dice? Like, come on.
Yeah, and she kind of like actually sides with Bo on this one, and she's like, hey, don't go putting words in his mouth. He hasn't even had a chance to touch him yet.
He doesn't have a chance to touch much. Usually he's either out the door or he's already shoved it into a bag and is running.
She laughs and then shakes her head and she's just like, ladies, if you don't want to be party to this, you don't have to, but gonna be playing a game. Friend here, my new friend, wants some information, and seems as though if he wins, he gets what he wants free and clear, and if I win, his friend, and like she doesn't seem to realize that you two like know Ray and Bo like that well. Like she saw like Ray like offer a drink or whatever, but she doesn't quite put it all together. She's like, this one over here, and she points at Ray, will get the information, and I get this one, and she points at Bo Sing Ball.
I'll just calmly say to them, did you guys know this guy's famous in Baldur's Gate? Yeah. Make sure he doesn't escape, okay?
I think it's more infamous than famous, but okay.
Yeah, infamous. It's more than famous, right?
No.
That's a
I hand Lucina the drink as well. It's like, yeah, you're definitely going to need this.
Thank you.
So yeah, meanwhile, with your high passive perception, Lucina, Scarface over here, like, finishes paying for his last drink and gets up from the bar and starts to leave. Do either of you that are aware that he's been checking you out do anything, or do you let him leave?
I'm actually gonna take my drink, and once he's out of sight, I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Boy.
It's Yanni Pink Panther stealth past all of us sitting at the table up the stairs.
Stealth.
Yeah, I mean, like, you do a fairly decent job of kind of like following far enough behind that he doesn't like immediately recognize that he is being followed. I think like as the dice rolling kind of like starts in earnest at the table, you hear the clatter behind you, and we follow you and him as he kind of like makes his way up like through the decks and like comes out on the main deck, and sees Rhea and Vert standing out there, and like I'll just go ahead and move you up here so that you're a little bit back. And so Vert, you probably hear these footsteps of this like he's like a 6'2", like pretty well built gentleman with like red hair and a beard and like a scar on his face, like comes up from below deck. He's got his hand shoved into his like long coat, and the collar kind of like turned up against the sea breeze, and like he comes like walking up to you, and it's like it's almost as though he didn't realize you were standing there until he got like fairly close to the gangplank, and he kind of like stiffens his posture a little bit and like looks at you and then looks at Rhea, and he's just like, just spending your day on the deck, huh?
What's it to you?
Nothing. Just Little surprised is all. Didn't expect to see people out here this early in the morning.
I don't know how to say it in character, but basically, you're very talkative for an asshole. You know what I mean?
Right, and he's kind of like, yeah, like narrows his eyes, and he's like, could say the same, and he just goes to like shove past you, right, like, and head down the steps off of the boat.
Do I see Siani at this point?
Yeah, I think maybe out of the corner of your eye, perhaps you see Siani kind of like poking her head up the top of the steps and like looking to see where this guy is going. Rhea is like absolutely not paying attention. She's like watching this like verbal altercation between the two of you with a light bit of concern on her face, given the conversation you guys had a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make the sort of signal, like point at him, like stop him kind of thing, or he's suspicious type thing.
Yeah, so I'll move in front of him.
Okay, and he kind of pulls his hands out of his coat pockets and does that kind of like hands to either side, like what's the deal gesture, and he's just like, oi, I'm just trying to go to work.
Smelling of alcohol. What would you call, like, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
It's actually like probably like 10:30 in the morning.
Smelling of alcohol.
Okay.
Smelling of alcohol almost at noontime. What kind of work do you do, friend?
He kind of like does that thing where he like picks at his clothes, right? You know, like he's trying to flex his drip, but he looks like he's wearing like shitty dock worker clothes, and he's like, I work here. And he kind of just like motions around him, and you see there's like sailors everywhere that are dressed just as poorly as him and probably just as drunk as him.
You seem very interested in my friend. Why is that?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about. Why have you been eyeing my friend since she got here?
Who are you talking about, mate?
I don't want him to... I don't know who I'm talking about, but I want him to think I know who I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So the implication is Rhea, but the actual thing is Siani because she's the one following him.
Right. So he kind of like, he's like, I don't know who you're talking about, mate. And then he like points at Rhea, and he's like, this one, I ain't seen her before. She's a little young for me anyway. And he kind of like does that like up and down, like checking her out, and like Rhea like gets this slightly offended look on her face.
At this point, I'm trying to take cues from Siani because I'm not sure why I'm stopping this guy.
At this point, I guess it's time for her to step in. Could she just sort of like creep up behind this guy and clear her throat?
Sure, yeah, you kind of like appear behind him and give the little cough. And he turns and he looks at you, and there's like a look of like he turns around enough, I think, that like you can't see his expression, but like he looks at you, and like there's this look of like realization on his face, Siani, and then he like turns and looks back at Vert, and he's just like, look, I just got places to be, man. Can you just get out of the way?
We all have things we must... Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was just going to bluntly ask, why were you sizing up me and my companion?
Yeah. His back stiffens a little. I think you see the kind of like defensive like posture in him, Vert, and like Rhea kind of like similarly like stiffens her posture when you say that, Siani. Like now she feels like she might need to be on the defensive about this guy, and he kind of like turns slightly so that he can kind of keep an eye on both Vert and Siani at the same time from out of his peripheral vision, and he like puts both of his hands up in this kind of like surrendery gesture, right? And he's just like, all right, you don't have to be all knives out about it. I just thought you and your friend looked fairly attractive, and I was trying to gauge my chances.
Bullshit!
Can I insight this? Oh,
Well, I am gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that. Well, if I re-roll it, would I have to take the 8?
No, I mean, like
Okay, go back to normal.
if you spend the reroll, like I'll let
Okay.
you. Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, and
Can I?
yeah, you can go. You can go ahead and reroll.
Okay. Oh my God! Really? Pfft, Jesus.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you both know that he's lying. Like, it occurs to both of you at the same time as he says that he was just, like, checking you out to see whether or not he could ask you out on a date. Like, he is fucking lying through his teeth.
Turning to Rhea. See, this is what I was talking about. So there's a gun at the back of his neck now.
so Sadly, being the blunt, socially inept person she is, she's not good at persuasion. She's not good at any of that. She's just going to sort of fold her arms and go, try again.
Oh, boy. Okay, so we'll come back to this. Put a pin in this.
Okay.
Back downstairs. You've been rolling dice for a couple of rounds now, like bantering back and forth with what you have now learned is her name is Lorelra. She is the captain of this ship. You have like proficiency in like gambling tools or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Or yeah,
Gaming set.
gaming set. Go ahead and give me a gaming set check. If you want to go charisma if you're bluffing, or let's say dexterity if you're just going to try to go off of raw skill. Holy shit.
Okay.
Alright, well.
Opposing boss. So anyway, I started rolling.
Yeah, so it's for both of you. I will go ahead, like, even though it rolled to me, I will let you know. She rolled a 21.
Ooh, what?
So for you and Lucina, it is a rousing game of dice, right? Like it's a lot of like back and forth, and it is very unclear who is going to emerge the winner from this. She is talking a lot of shit, but like at the end of it, like several hands of like, you know, like dice poker later or whatever, Bosingbaugh, you emerge the victor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the captain slumps back into her chair, defeated. Like her little crab familiar like appears on the table and like scuttles over and like picks up the dice and like scuttles back over to her and like disappears back into her pocket. And she just like lets out a heavy sigh and she's like, promise is a promise, so I'll give you the information you want, whatever it is. No payment necessary. And she sounds really disappointed in that moment, but, you know, she swore, and such is the pirate code. So, Lucina and Ray and Bo, you can all ask her questions, and she will answer truthfully.
I took her this one electrum piece I've had sitting on me for forever and just say, look, I know it's not much, but there's something at least.
Yeah, and she kind of like laughs, like just barks a laugh, and she's just like, I fucking hate electrum, and then she like disappears it into her pocket. She's like, worst fucking currency of the realms. Who needs this?
I just swig and I'm like, right? Who in their right mind thought that was a great idea?
Some fucking coin collector somewhere.
But yes. So, any pressing questions you would like to address to the captain?
Where is he?
Where are they? Where is she? Okay, we're done with the Batman jokes.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, Batman's up on deck holding a gun to someone's head. Like,
is.
let's not forget.
We talking
Let's also
Thomas
not
Wayne?
forget.
Uh,
Let's also not forget that Batman's killed people before.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the original, like, back in the day, like, back in the way Disney, when Batman first started, like, he had a gun.
Yeah.
Like,
He used to straight up murder criminals. And then
But
he
they-
suddenly grew a conscience.
well, I mean, I think they wanted to set a better example, and also I think he probably got pinched by the comics code. But, like, either way. Lucina, we haven't heard from you for a little bit. Anything you pressing want to ask the captain about?
Nothing that really comes to mind. I'm more of just observing everything going on around and seeing if I pick up on, like any random conversation going on from other patrons.
Sure. I think the people down here, for the most part, seem to just be, like, deep in their cups. Church Bells, very much does the thing that, like, all Kinku do, where whenever someone comes up to, like, order another drink, like, he's always talking in, like, snippets of other people's voices or, like, sounds that he's heard, like, perfectly reproducing them like a DJ sound mixer.
See,
And
every
for
time I
the-
see Kenku and think about them, all I can think about is fucking Bumblebee from Transformers.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, yeah. But yeah, as for the two of you, like, you have, like, a clear line of questioning, and I assume this is going to be asking
it's
about the
basically
Harlequin.
just like, yeah, like, what was the fucking scammies were running? When did they like stop showing up?
Yeah, and for what it's worth, she's just like, well, he would come around every day, early in the morning, or stay from early in the morning until late at night. He'd kind of made court down here, and she kind of, like, motions to this whole, like, below deck area that you are in currently. She indicates, like, the far end from where you are, where there's, like, a table and, like, a couple of sofas that are, like, facing each other. She's like, he'd take up place over there. Had a couple of bodyguards with him that would make sure that nothing got too rowdy, and he had this little, I think it might have been a devil, just a tiny one with spines for wings, sat on his shoulder like a parrot. I think he was trying to be more piratey. Made him look like a real fucking cunt, though.
Did it look like a raven, like a crow?
No, it had little horns, kind of like an imp.
Oh, he does
But he
sound
wore
like a
this gaudy golden face mask, whole, like, jester's motley situation going on, which I think is why he was calling himself the Harlequin. And people from the Thieves Guild would show up every now and again, and they would come with people I've never met, people that seem to be from out of town. They'd come in, they'd come down to this lower deck, they would talk a while, he would look through some papers that he had with him, a couple of scrolls and a book. And then he would produce some sort of paperwork, documentation, not sure. He had she kind of like leans over and yells, and she's like, church bells! And he opens his mouth and makes the sound of, like, ringing church bells coming out of his mouth. She's like, I know.
Thank you so much.
And she's like, what was it that he was doing? And he repeats in this very, like, posh, noble voice. Like, he's like, yes, the autoquill fills in the information that is necessary in handwriting that looks appropriate. Like, just coming perfectly out of this pirate Kinku's mouth, clearly not his voice. And she's like, aye, that. He had a magic item that could reproduce handwriting or some such.
Even sounds like a cunt.
Yeah, definitely. But the refugees would pay him, he would give them the papers, and then they would leave. And then I'm led to believe by your investigation coming here that obviously some of the people that he was supplying false documentation to must have wound up dead.
Yep, pretty much. Is there anybody that was hanging about with him, or like any of his associates still come round and
And
like pop in?
she thinks about it for a minute, and she's like, well, he hasn't been around in, like a day or two. I heard there was some sort of dust up at a bathhouse the other day, but I don't know if that's related.
No idea.
And then she's like, she snaps her finger, and she's like, oh, that one. And she points at the seat at the bar where that guy with the scar on his face was a minute ago. She's like, it was one of his bodyguards. He kept coming around just without his boss. Thought it was kind of weird, but now that you mention it.
Thanks. Well, really must go. Like, good game. GG's. Easy. Bye.
Yeah, and she's like, you ever want to press your luck again, you can come on back, little one.
Maybe I'll take the boat off you next time.
She laughs, and she's like, not likely. So, back upstairs, up on the deck, we return to Rhea's got her hand like on her sword, right? Because this is getting tense. You've got a gun pointed at this guy, like the side of this guy's head. Tiana, you're like making menacing expressions at him, it sounds like. And you what was the question you asked? Why were you spying on her or something?
He said that he was looking us over because he thought we were cute. And she's not buying that for a hot
said
second.
try again.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna roll a d20 against this gentleman's intelligence. Actually, his wisdom, I think. Oh.
Well.
Okay. So here's what I need. Vert, if you would.
I would.
Please roll initiative for me.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm fucking talking about! I'm fast as fuck, boy! I don't think you understand how fast I am!
Oh, this guy's got no chance. Fuck out.
Okay, hang on. And then, Ciati, I guess you can roll in on this as well if you would like. Okay. Sort descending.
Did he roll a 1 on initiative?
No, he rolled a 6.
Okay.
He has +0 to his initiative.
Okay.
And Rhea rolled a 2. So yeah, you like, given that you have the top initiative spot, I think you see it. Like when Siani's like, you should probably try again. It twigs in your mind immediately, like the way he is moving, like he is starting to move with aggressive purpose, like he's lifting his hand, like he's gonna try to grab the pistol out of your hand, and then like who knows what, right? But he's definitely like got like aggression in mind, so you can act accordingly, having won the first spot in initiative.
So I've got the gun pointed to the back of his head. He's going to try and spin around and grab it from me.
I imagine that he's actually kind of like oriented himself like sideways to you, so that like he can kind of look at Siani and you at the same time. So you're probably more like pointing the gun like at the side of his head, right?
Okay.
But like you still kind of like, it's kind of in his blind spot, and it would be hard for him to like grab it easily without turning to face you. So you probably like twig to the fact that he's starting to turn towards you, and he's like moving his significant like bulk in a way that seems both aggressive and like a little bit quicker than you might have expected.
Listen, I'm going to channel my inner Lucina here because she'd be very mad at me if I started firing guns on the deck of this very nice establishment that she is drinking at. So
Right.
instead, when he turns to grab the gun, I want him to have a face full of hamster. I just want that little bastard to just bite and
Pocket
scratch
hamster.
and claw at him.
Pocket hamster. Okay.
Pocket hamster. Shusha!
Roll. Are you proficient in hamster?
I am proficient in animal handling.
So yeah.
Okay. Sure. Give me an animal handling check. That is a 13. Yeah. 13.
I mean, I don't necessarily need to stop him. I just need to throw him off.
Right. No. Okay. So like a 13 beats his armor class. So like you're just like and like Kilgore like jumps from your hand like onto this guy's face and just like starts immediately like scraping and clawing and like scrabbling at him, and he's just like, oh fuck, and he's like reaching towards his face now, trying to get this rodent out of his beard. He will take 2 points of damage from aggressive hamster.
The eyes, Kilgore.
And-
The
and
eyes,
that-
like we practiced. Sorry.
Yeah, and that gives me enough time to just pull out my other gun, I guess, and maybe take a step back and just be like, what are you going to do now? You didn't really think this through very well.
Right. Siani. He is being molested by a hamster. What do you do?
She's kind of like, she's seen Stranger Things. The hamster is not the weirdest thing that's happened to her in the last week. But,
2 points of hamster damage.
as it seems like we're trying to avoid dealing too much damage to the ship, she's going to try and go like the non-nuke route, and she's going to take out her staff and use the command word to turn it into rope and try and entangle him in it while he's
Sure.
distracted with the hamster.
Makes sense to me. Let us see here. Speaking the command word causes the rope to tighten. Creature is restrained by the rope. When you speak the command word, the rope tightens around the creature but does not crush it once tightened in this way. Okay, so go ahead and give me roll your thorn whip, I guess, to see if you can lasso this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So you pull the staff out, you speak the command word, and it the kind of tight coil of vines that is this staff kind of uncoils a little bit, and multiple strands of thorny greenery lash outward, whipping from your staff and wrapping around this guy's arms and legs and around his torso. And then you speak the command word again, and they immediately tighten, and he suddenly just finds himself pulled together and cinched up in a bundle of thorny vines as he just kind of teeters and falls over on his side hog-tied. And he's just still just oh my god, get this thing off of my face!
Kilgore, enough.
Yeah, and give me another animal handling check.
Roll
Okay.
a one. Roll
Roll
a
a
one.
one. Roll a one. Did it roll? There it is.
Okay, yeah, you
Aw.
command Kilgore to cease, and the hamster stops, and it turns, and it looks at you, and there's a moment where it's it makes eye contact with you, and you see the bloodthirst in its hamster eyes, and then it clambers down off of his face and trots across the deck and then climbs up your boot and up your pant leg and disappears back into one of your pockets dutifully as told.
We may need him later, but he might not need his tongue. We'll see.
Yeah, and so he's squirming and fighting against the vines, but he's well and truly restrained, as I think the rest of you, Ray, Ball, and Lucina, emerge onto the deck of the ship and see that this gentleman that you saw leave, that the captain had indicated might be one of Amric's bodyguards, is laying on the deck, trussed up in vine ropes, and there's got 2 guns drawn, but mercifully, you did not hear the discharge of any firearms whatsoever. And Rhea's still standing there looking a little confused with her hand, like one hand on the scabbard of her sword, like, and the other hand, like, hovering just above the hilt, like, I don't know if I should draw my sword or not. Like, she's just like, what's happening? This all happened so fast.
I guess I'll let them know.
To ask again.
I guess I'll let them know if did we turn up at this point? Is that?
Yeah, I'm like you and Ray and Lucina are emerging onto the deck into this kind of like situation as I have described it.
Right. So I guess I'll just be like, oh, nice, you got him. Turns out he's one of Harlequin's men. He was a bodyguard from here.
Oh, so that kind of answers my question.
And he kind of like tries to roll over on his side so that he can look at you, Bo, and he's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Let me go!
I'll walk over and gently bonk him in the face with my quarterstaff.
Right, he can't resist, so you just kind of like bonk.
Yeah. Not enough to hurt him, just like to bonk him and just say, like, lion's bad. Stop it.
So, I have a new question now. Who were you off to go warn?
He kind of like narrows his eyes and he looks up at you and like I think you get that, like, he's clammed up, right? Like, you've got him tied up, he can't get away. Like, the only power he has in this dynamic at this point is just not saying anything.
If you won't
What's
use
that?
your tongue,
Hang
I
on.
can remove it for you.
He doesn't want
Yeah.
to say anything. I guess I'll just
Yeah.
have to make him a really good friend of mine.
Ooh.
Don't mind me, just gonna...
Just gonna brainwash a person. Okay.
This is becoming an incredible learning experience for Rhea, by the way. What
It
needs
sure
to be
does
done?
seem that way. Let's see here. You have advantage. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends. Charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed. So yeah, you what is this? You strum your viol or whatever, and
I just sort of slowly walk up the stairs, just strumming away because I can hear the commotion. I'm just like dun 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 dun, dun, and I see him lying on the ground. I'm just like dun 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 dun. Oh, it's you! But
And yeah, and then the magic hits him as he's trying to like be a tough guy and not say anything, and like, yeah, you see his like as that last like note hits and the magic sets in, you see his like expression soften slightly, and he kind of like turns and as best he can and looks towards you, Ray, and he's just like, come on, help me out, get me out of this.
I'm like, oh, what have you done this time?
He's just like, these crazies have tied me up. Tell them to let me go.
Oh, guys, come on, this guy's a good friend of mine. Come on, where were you off to this time, you little bastard? I smell the beer on you a mile away.
That might be me.
Yeah. Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
The best part is when this runs out, because he's going to be very angry.
Right, but you'll likely be long gone. Yeah, and he kind of like does this thing where he kind of like looks to the left and looks to the right. He's like surrounded, and he's like, come here. Like, kind of like doing that head motion as he's kind of like still laying on the ground, like tied up, like I don't want to say it in front of these guys, but I'll whisper it to you, kind of like head motion.
Yeah.
And so once you get close enough, he kind of like leans up and he's like, I need to get back to the Van Thampers to let them know that these people are probably looking for them.
Oh, right. I get you. And I like take what's left of my drink and I just sort of like let him slowly sip it while he's tied up. Like, here, shh, take this. Just let him finish the drinking. I'm sure you needed that, It's fine.
It's like, hey, come on, yeah, sure, let me out. I gotta go.
No, don't worry about it, man. Listen, you stay here and have a few drinks. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it.
And it's like, okay.
Don't worry about it, man. Like, these guys think I'm a good guy. They think I'm a nice person. Don't worry about it. I got it. I got you. You'll even get a raise after this.
It's like, oh, I like that.
Stay here, have a few more drinks, and just enjoy yourself.
It's like, all right. Sounds like a plan. You go warn Emmerich, and I'll keep watch here. That's what I'll do. I'll tell him I was keeping watch.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
And he's got this like glassy, like hypnotized expression, right? The entire time he's having this whispered conversation with Ray.
I'll just stand up and just be like, Kilgore, there you go.
My God.
Are you trying to summon the hamster?
I'm trying to.
know...
We know what it was a way to do. We know that he's not actually the Harlequin. We know that the Harlequin is clearly with the Van Thampers. And
Yeah,
we
we
got
knew
all
that.
the information we need out of him.
Does he
Right.
know, like, an easy way in, or anything, maybe? To, like, the Van Vampire Manor?
I don't think we'd be able to reach there in an hour.
No, but he could fucking tell us if there's a back door somewhere.
That is true. Why didn't I think of that?
I don't know. He's clearly not had enough to drink this morning.
Clearly.
Like, unfortunately, like, this guy, like, he's a bodyguard, right? And he's employed by the family. Like, he'd probably
Doesn't
just be
know
like,
that.
well, you go in through the front door, right? Like, because I think the way the magic is working on him is he thinks that you're his friend, which means he thinks that you're also, like, connected in some way. So he would just think, yeah, you just go in through the south gate and then just walk in, right? Like,
Right, fair. Oh well, off a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I guess we've got all we're gonna get from this guy then.
I'll go downstairs and speak to the captain about holding him somewhere for a little while.
yeah, I think Lorelra, like, kind of narrows her eyes at you, and she's like, what did I just say not 20 minutes ago about not wanting to be involved in your flaming fist nonsense?
Listen, you don't have to be involved. I'm just saying someone may have accidentally fallen overboard and might have a rope attached to them, barely holding them above water, and they're gagged.
Uh-huh. Sounds like nonsense to me.
Exactly. You didn't know anything happened.
So this is the part where I begin to understand that I understand that we're negotiating, and you seem to not understand that.
Negotiations were never really my strong suit. At least not right now. I blame the alcohol. Good alcohol, by the way.
Yes. Our beer is quite good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you want me to keep this boy, whoever he is, tied up or thrown in a room or something, with a guarantee that he's not going to come after you with a knife and skewer you like a fillet, I need some assurances.
I'll give
By
her,
which
give her
I
a,
mean...
I'll give her
and
a
she
hard
makes, like,
shake of my
the...
head. Hang on, and I'll just be like, I'm really sorry. That was the only electron piece I had.
Yeah, and she kind of, like, arches an eyebrow, and she's like, I know how adventurers work. You definitely have gold.
Oh, gold! Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, here.
Right. How much are you willing to offer?
I'll give her 40.
Yeah, she regards it and she nods and she's like, "Oh, I see you're an adventurer who understands the value of discretion." Yeah,
Ah, yes, I'm an adventurer of culture as well.
yeah, and she takes the gold and she's like, "Yeah, I'll find a place to stick him so he can cool his heels for a little while."
I give her a pat on the shoulder and like, thank you very much. We won't be long. Once we're done, this is probably our last stop. So once we're done here, two things will happen. One, we'll come back. We'll settle him. We'll deal with him and sort it all out. Two, we're all dead, and you can just do what you want with him.
I mean, I was planning on letting him out in a few hours anyway, so it's no problem for me.
I'm guessing.
I'll hold him
can
till
take her rope
tomorrow.
back.
Yeah, you untie him. Like, she sends a couple of her goons up to like grab him and like take him down below decks and like throw him in one of the like.
Oh no! They violently shook him while he was under the spell. That means he breaks out of it.
Right, and he's probably like protesting the whole time as she drags them or has him drug below decks, right? And like throws him in a like probably just puts him in the boo box, to be honest. And she just like doffs her cap and she's just like, "You have 24 hours. After that, I let him out, and anything that happens, happens." And she just bids you farewell.
I give her a hearty salute before she goes and just turn to the rest of the party. Whoops.
You turn to the party and say, "Whoops."
Yeah, that works.
Sandy's just gonna go. That was surprisingly non-violent.
I know, right? Weird.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Vert didn't just like aerate this man's brains.
I wanted to, but Lucina would be mad at me.
I'm so proud of you.
Appreciate your restraint.
So, did you learn anything useful, or did we just waste 20 minutes of our time listening to you drink?
Well, I got a drink, so yeah, it was worth time.
Oh my god.
I'll just chuckle and finish up, just like put my ale down somewhere and just like, I had several and it was fucking great. Do recommend. Better than the bath.
And I'm the alcoholic. Fuck.
Oh, God. Is anybody gonna tell Vert what you learned?
Well, I guess I don't know. That was a whispered conversation, so Ray would only know it, right?
Yeah, no. So I'll turn to him and just say he was a bodyguard of the Van Thampers and he was going to tell the family on us. Gasp. I'll just stand dramatically.
Okay. So where's the Harlequin? You know, the one we
In
were
the Van
actually
Thamper estate.
Yeah, he stopped showing up here after the bathhouse incident.
So all the prey gather in one location.
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
Convenient.
It's almost like the world is converging all of the threats into one giant boss fight. Weird.
Boss fight. Boss fight.
Boss fight. Level 7! Oh wait, level 6.
Yeah, we need
level
level 7 as well. Fuck.
Yeah.
Just because.
I mean, the gulf between level 6 and level 7 is quite wide.
Extreme.
But yeah, so having learned then that like Amric has stopped showing up here and has probably returned home to hide behind his mother's skirts, and the other brother has rarely if ever left the house, it seems as though you have one primary destination to head to next time. And I think
Next
as
time
you
on the adventures of this party.
and I was gonna say, I think as you depart the ship and begin heading in the direction of the Van Thamper Manor, we cut away to like a shadowy room in what appears to be a noble estate. Like, it's a well decorated, like well appointed room with like rich like dark wood furniture and like really like plush upholstery, and it is this very like skinny like bookwormy looking dude with mussed hair and like a noble fashion that's a little out of date and somewhat unkempt, who is sitting in this dark room with like wild like shadows cast by like firelight kind of like playing across the wall behind him, and the illumination on his features gives the whole room this kind of like slightly infernal tinge, shall we say. And there's an imp that is sitting on the bed next to him, like chittering in infernal, while he continuously like plays with this like small box that is well, it's a cutscene. It doesn't matter what he's saying. And he's playing with like an infernal puzzle box. Like, think like the Hellraiser box, right?
I love it.
And he's like trying to figure out how to open it, even as he's conversing with this imp that's sitting next to him. An imp which you realize has a small wound in its side, as though it were hit by a dart.
Fucking knew it.
And the skinny, like bookish looking man with the puzzle box kind of goes, "Yes, I understand that there are adventurers looking for our family. It doesn't matter, though. If I can open this, we might be able to sink the entire city into hell." And then we cut to credits.
Joke's on you, this city's already hell.
Right?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. This city's great. I love it.
I love it.
I
And so
love it.
yeah, I
Okay.
will go ahead and grant everyone let's say like 150 experience points for having cleared up all of the various leads in the city finally, and really zeroing in on your next destination. And I will also for everyone's role playing in this session, I will grant everybody that does not have inspiration currently can go ahead and mark inspiration for next session.
Yay.
And I guess, yeah, like, obviously Bossingbaugh has to get piety for theoretically gambling himself away.
Yeah.
I mean, my Ray's thoughts were, it's Bossingbaugh, he'll escape anyway.
Right.
That was my thoughts as well, to be honest.
And I guess, yeah, like the weird like ritual prayer trying to invoke ill luck on a little girl. Like, is definitely like one for Vert.
For piety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one for Siani for traveling somewhere new, and we've got one for Ray for attempting to make people's lives better, though it is up in the air whether or not he was successful. And you know what? I'm actually going to give Lucina a piety here, because Kelemvor is both the sorter of the dead but also a protector of life, and there was a moment there where I was afraid that Vert was going to kill a butler.
No.
Excuse you, Virt was going to kill a child and a butler.
Right.
Yeah.
Both of these things are bad. Both of these things are bad. So I'm going to give you a piety for preserving a life that was not meant to be ended early.
I appreciate it. Because I am at 25 now.
Hooray!
Yay.
Does that give you like what does that give you? Like the rad, like speak with dead, or is that?
No, I cannot be raised as undead after I die.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Very cool. But yes, so I will leave you with that. I have another game I need to like immediately go to, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
will see you next time.
Have a time,
All
Marcus.
right,
Bye.
have a good
Have a
one.
good one. And thanks.